Hey, welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and this is the space to be for high vibe people looking to create a beautiful life and business. Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast, my beautiful friends. I am Leticia Ringe, your host, and today is a solo episode and celebration. I want to talk about how I created this. In fact, I want to talk about the fact that I created this. Now let's talk about what this is. So right now as I record this episode, I am sitting in my Airbnb in Mexico, and I am taking a moment to really celebrate everything that has been manifested for me. I am in awe, everyone. I am in absolute awe with what I have been able to create. Right now, I'm celebrating being overseas, first of all, which if you've been following my journey has been a real struggle for me internally just to get here. I'm celebrating that my business has brought in multiple six figures in sales over the past 12 months. We were already at multiple six figures in revenue since the start of the business, but I am now at multiple six figures in sales for the past 12 months. I have done this while working 3 days a week, taking off 3 months a year. I have an incredible team who has been supporting me while I've been away. While I've been in Mexico in Sayulita, I've been living in an incredible space with a beautiful view of the jungle. It's so gorgeous. I've had my own apartment, living in the same apartment building as other incredible coaches. We've been having the most amazing conversations. One of those beautiful coaches has signed up to join us in the Holistic Business Mistress Mind. So many of you have signed up to join us in the Holistic Business Mistress Mind while I've been away. There's been so many of you that, in fact, we've opened up another pod for the Mistress Mind because we only have a maximum of 10 people in each pod. And so I'm just so excited to get started with you all on the 1st of September. It's going to be so awesome, and it's going to be the best Mistress Mind we've had so far. I've just been receiving so much. I've been writing my book, and I've also come to the full acceptance, that moment in your belief journey where you realize that it's actually going to happen. It's true. And that is that my 7-figure business is now within reach. I've been working on that belief all year about, can I have a 7-figure business? That's my goal. There's been a lot of resistance. I've had a lot of contraction when I think about that. But I had this moment while I was away where I suddenly had that shift where I went from it's impossible to it's happening. And then all of this, my vision, then I completely downloaded the vision of exactly what I need to do to create that. And that has also involved me really owning my place as a leader in this industry, which is something that recently I've kind of hid from. And I have been called to lead within this industry. And obviously, if many of you are probably thinking you already are a leader in the industry. And it's true, I am, but I really saw that for the first time. And I did know that at earlier times in my business journey. And then I've had a bit of a wobble recently, and I saw the truth along this this travel that I've been on recently. So in terms of my business, while I've been on holidays, this has actually been an incredibly lucrative time for my business, and it's also been an incredibly lucrative time in terms of my mindset and my expansion and what I've been downloading and being able to see. I created a multiple six-figure business, working 3 days a week, taking off 3 months a year, and I've allowed myself to be a digital nomad, which is something that I've been wanting for literal years and have not been allowing myself to have. And that's all come to fruition right now. And so I wanted to share this moment with you all. I get to support the most amazing industry. I get to lead the most amazing industry: coaching, space holding, transformation. I get to support the most amazing people within this industry: heart-centered coaches, space holders, and transformation entrepreneurs. People who want to lead this industry too. People who are ready to build a six-figure and beyond business because we deserve to be paid for our gifts. I mean, we have the most easiest conscionable sell there ever is. I truly believe that investing for myself in coaching and my own transformation is the highest thing that I could do with my money. And that is exactly what I believe in terms of what I sell. And as I think about all that I have created, my award-winning, international reaching, multiple six-figure business that will be a seven-figure business within the next 12 to 18 months, I'm in awe because I remember that version of myself who was stuck for so many years in a career that I felt was beneath me in so many ways. And that's not to talk about the career itself. It's to talk about, I felt like I was being underutilized. I knew something was out of alignment. I was so intuitive. I just didn't understand the power of what I was receiving. I knew it, and although I didn't act on it for many, many years, ultimately I did, and that is what got me here. There was so much resistance along the journey. I had so many people reflecting my fear back at me. Can't leave a career that you've invested tens of thousands of dollars in study and then almost 10 years in terms of actual practice within law, i.e. working in a law firm. You can't leave that behind. You're on partner track. You'll be able to have this incredible business and earn multiple six figures in each year. My boss said to me, you know that you're 1% of the population? Do you know how special this is? But I didn't feel special. I didn't want to work with people who hated their jobs, who didn't think that they were really changing the world in a good way. I didn't want to burn the candles at both ends. I didn't think it was okay that my body wasn't thriving. I didn't think it was okay that I didn't feel fulfilled or inspired by my work. I didn't think it was okay to work within an industry that promoted people to compete with one another for their jobs. I didn't think it was healthy or okay to track every 6 minutes of your time. And I also knew back then that I wasn't meant to stay in the city that I grew up in. That I was meant to explore the world, to expand my horizons. I knew that I was here to serve and help people. I had no idea how, but I knew. When I studied psychology, I knew that this wasn't right for me, that there was a better way of helping people truly and seeing people than was available at that time. And I was right. For me, it came through trying to figure out what my purpose was. It came through moving overseas to London and being able to see my life from a totally different perspective. Self-discovery, learning, who am I? What am I about? What do I bring to this life? And from there, realizing that self-discovery is my passion. We are incredible beings who are there to be seen. And we can only be seen through seeing ourselves. And so that's the process that I love to support people with, and how beautiful that has evolved in the highest way for me to be done through the holding of business. And there are more than one ways to have that experience. For those of you who are health coaches, you're literally helping people discover who they are through the lens of health. It might be through relationships, through healing, like whatever your focus is. Ultimately, what we're doing is helping a person see themselves and understand themselves so that the rest of the world can do that too. And that is an industry I want to lead and be a part of. I was born to do this work, just like you were. And so while I had so much resistance to starting a business, to being a coach, to serving people in this way, it's also felt like the most me that I've ever felt. And every day it just gets more and more like a snug cocoon that I am in, because it is me. And more I get to really see myself, and it's an ongoing journey that we're all on. So I created my coaching business, helping people to see themselves. And that became supporting people to build a business, a career, a lifestyle built on that, without limits. I believe that more money in the hands of conscious people supporting our world, everybody in it, to see themselves, to love and know themselves, is the most important work in the world. We deserve to be paid as if this is the top level work in the world. Right? Why should I as a lawyer have earned any more money than I do as a coach? Nuh-uh. And so that moment when I surpassed my income as a lawyer was incredible, because so many people cautioned me against it. I remember the day I went to graduate as a life coach. Some of you might have heard this story. I went to an acupuncture session for the first time, and my acupuncturist told me, you shouldn't do it. Don't be a coach. Go back to law. You could be a lawyer and serve your community, and you'll earn like great money for the rest of your life. But he didn't know what I knew. I knew that I would be financially successful and fulfilled and create a meaningful difference in the world as a coach. I knew that this was my calling. And I have no idea how it will continue to evolve, but I know that I'm in the right place, and that has never changed. There have been times when my mind has thought, oh, business is hard. Why do you do this to yourself? But then the learning is always that's it. You're doing this to yourself. Any pain or suffering is something I'm doing to myself. It's not that there's a problem with business. Business is neutral. You make it what you want it to be. And so I wanted to create this episode to celebrate that I created this. Nobody came and handed this on a silver platter for me. There have been so many trials and tribulations that I've had in my life to be here. I was not born into a family that was confident, abundant, that I wasn't in a super happy family. I grew up in a family that had lots of troubles, lots of mental health challenges, suicide, attempted suicide, drug and alcohol addiction. I lived, by the time I was 30, in 30 different places. My home environment didn't feel safe. I felt like I was walking on eggshells for a lot of my childhood. I didn't have one of my parents with me for a very significant number of years of my childhood, very significant time. I was often the parent to my parents. But as this happened for me as a child, I knew that it was happening for me. I could really see at such a young age that everything that was happening in my life, all this chaos that was around me, allowed me to create my own experience. I had to take charge of my life for myself. I needed to be independent. I could look after others, which showed me that I could look after myself. I learned to be the one who loves myself. And although that's been an ongoing work in progress, and I've had a lot of inner struggle to contend with, it's all been for me. It's shaped me. And it's so beautiful because I see both of my parents who have made massive transformations in their own self-development too. You know, my mother, who wasn't physically in my life for many years when I was a child, she was overseas. And she, by doing that, by following what was right for her, she showed me what was possible for me. That I could live overseas, that I could travel the world. And so I'm so grateful for all of these experiences. On top of that, I am an Aboriginal woman. It was not okay for my family to be Aboriginal. It was a secret because literally my great-grandfather, in order for him to have a job, he wasn't allowed to be Aboriginal. He raised his kids telling them that they were Greek, because if he didn't, he would have lost his job, and the children, there was a high possibility that his children would be taken from him. My grandfather and his brothers and sisters there are police files on all of them, watching to make sure that they're not mixing with Aboriginal people here in Australia, because that's what life was like in the not so long ago. So I come from a family who weren't allowed to be themselves in their own country. And for us Aboriginal people on land that we have been on, like we're the oldest, one of the oldest cultures on the planet. So this is my history, but I've never made that mean that I couldn't create what I want. I made that mean that I was going to create a different life for myself. And so I got into law. That was a huge thing. And then I decided that law wasn't for me. And then I decided to create a business, to serve people, to coach people, to lead this industry. Within 12 months of graduating as a coach, I was an award-winning coach, and I was also selected as a finalist for 3 awards. That's the only time that's happened in our coaching academy. Since then, I have not put myself forward for any more awards, but I would highly recommend that all of you do so. I was just preoccupied with other goals in my business, but I will be doing that again. Because you got to put your hat in the ring. You have to ask for what you want. So, as I sat in Cellulitar and have experienced the most amazing 3 weeks of my life, where I've been in total flow in a place that is a vortex. I've had the most incredible moments of serendipity. I've received an incredible amount of new, amazing people to work with in our next season of The Mistress Mind. And I've really seen how by me following my truth and believing in myself has allowed me to support others in doing the same. And the ripple effect of that is huge. I created this. It all started with me being willing to get to know myself, recognizing the desires that I had, and asking for them. Asking and then taking aligned action to bring them about. And then allowing myself to receive. As we know, this is harder than it sounds. But what I wanted to also share with you is that the last 18 months of my life have been the most painful for me. They've been the most expansive and they've been the most painful. I have personally been going through so much. I've been in therapy talking about my childhood for the first time, which has been really, really important for me. I've decided not to continue with it, but if I want to at any time in the future, I will. That process was really important to just talk to someone about the things that I've experienced and to really come to a place of peace about them. My inner child was yearning for this. I've also been working through the shame and I can't think of the right words to talk about this, but really looking at my cultural identity and what my family have been through and how that has impacted me today. And that has been the most painful experience. Actually, I think that this is the most painful experience I've ever been through. And I've also been asking and going through a really difficult time in my relationship with my partner because we've both been led to different next steps. I'm here in Mexico, he's in Sydney. And to get here, it was incredibly painful because I had to make the decision to leave physically, not leave the relationship, but to leave each other. And we've been together for 10 years. It's the first time in 10 years that we've lived apart. And so all of that's happened over the last 18 months. I've had a lot of inner work to do. And yet it's been the most expansive time in my life and in my business. I've had so many financial goals that I've hit in the last 18 months. It's really this time is what has led me to the multiple six-figure business that I have today. It's led me to, I've completely elevated the way I lead. I've completely elevated all of my programs, my team. It's just like night and day. And that's because that's how quickly things can evolve for you. Even in terms of finances, in the last 18 months, I hit 6 figures in revenue for the past 12 months. Then I had a $90,000 launch. I made 6 figures within 6 months. And then I hit multiple 6 figures in revenue for my business and then multiple 6 figures in sales for the past 12 months. All within 18 months. That's how quickly things can change. And all I've done is continue to work the same process, which is why I keep sharing how important this is with all of you. So how did I get here? You've got to be willing to see yourself and acknowledge the desires that you have there. You've got to be willing to ask for what you want. No one else is going to give it to you. As I was making the decision to be a digital nomad and to move overseas and travel indefinitely, almost everybody around me told me not to do it. because they were reflections of my own fear. And it was the same when I started my business. No one's going to roll out the red carpet and tell you, yeah, you can have a multiple 6-figure business. Yeah, you should create a 7-figure business like what I'm doing. I have to ask for that myself. And then I've got to be willing to do the work. And you know what the work means? Consistent mindset work and actually taking the actions that are aligned with the desire that you have. And I would say the last piece is really allowing yourself to receive what you want. And that's really about the energetics. And this is exactly what I teach using my holistic business framework. Alignment, allowing your inner voice to guide your business, having a holistic strategy to create what you want in business, elevating your mindset and energy, and using your incredible cycle as a sustainable structure to build your business. So, my beautiful friends, thank you for sharing this moment with me of celebration. I want you to use this episode not to compare yourself with my results, but to invite you to take your desires seriously. Get yourself support to build the business that you desire, to build the life that you desire. The number one way I have supported myself in terms of the action that I've taken is to always make sure that I am working with a coach to help me build this life that I desire, to help me build the business that I desire. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking about, okay, now's the time, which I would say was yesterday, I just wish that I started with a coach way sooner in my life. I mean, how great would it be if we were teens and had our own coaches? I can help you. I can help you build the business that you desire. And one of my best ways of doing that is in the Holistic Business Mistress Mind. And we have final places now enrolling. If you're not on the wait list, make sure you get on it at leticiaringe.com/mistress mind. While places are still open, you'll receive an email immediately with all of the details as well as a link to apply. Those places will go to the first people who take them. So if you're interested in building a 6-figure business and leading within your industry, this is the space to do it. All you need to be is an existing business owner. Doesn't matter how much money you've made, you just need to have a business. And you want to go to 6 figures. leticiaringe.com/mistress mind. We start September 1st and our final places are now enrolling. I would love to support you. All right, my beautiful friends, write down your desires. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want and start moving forward. Do the mindset work and do the work to take that aligned action. I'll see you in our next episode. Hey, if you're ready to create your very own purpose-driven business too, I invite you to check out my online program, Create Your Beautiful Biz. You'll learn how to create a business that allows you to make your difference and thrive. Just head over to www.leticiaringe.com/CYBB. Let's make creating a business beautiful. I'll see you there.